Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest football transfer news. We've got a couple of stories on Liverpool, a couple on Arsenal, a little bit about Chelsea, and Newcastle are joining the transfer party. It's about time as well because the top four are going to run away with it, obviously. But let's start off with Liverpool. They have rejected a bid, according to Fabrizio Romano, for Darwin Nunez for £50 million. From Napoli. Also, we've got an update on Gyokeres, Arsenal, and why that's been delayed. So striker updates incoming. Here we go, as Fabrizio would say. Well, it's not here we go quite yet. Napoli want Darwin Nunez. Liverpool want more than £50 million. There's a transfer merry-go going round with this one because Osimhen to Galatasaray is going to happen. Napoli will cash that money and spend it on Darwin Nunez, but Liverpool want more than £50 million. Isn't it incredible that Darwin Nunez is going to go for more than £50 million? This is a player that's basically been ridiculed in the Premier League. Lots of Liverpool fans have stood by him, but even Liverpool fans would say he's not prolific enough. I have always said about Darwin Nunez, there is a striker there that has one of the best abilities in the world in a certain way. He's a chance magnet. That is movement. That is not skill. That is positional sense. Maybe the intensity and speed of the Premier League doesn't suit him. You stick him in a slightly slower league, that positional sense with more time to finish could be deadly. And I think that's what Conte and Napoli are thinking about. But isn't it incredible that you can get £50 million for a player that's perceived to be a flop, or more than £50 million? But you know what that is? That's because Liverpool won the league. That's because Liverpool can say, you're looking for a striker that plays quite regularly for us in a Premier League side that's won the league and is one of the best in the world. So we want over £50 million. And to be fair, Napoli can't really do anything about it because they want him and they can afford him. And Nunez wants to go there. And we saw this with Man City a few years ago. And it's very true that when you're selling your players, even if it's your not starter players, people are on the bench, you can still get good money for them because you go, this is a player that's a product of this Premier League winning side. This is a player that's been part of that. You're not only getting the player, you're getting that winning mentality. They know what it takes. And that comes at a premium. And Liverpool have spent some money, but they're going to get money back into the club again, like they have done with other players. And it's not going to be long before you look at Liverpool's purchases and their sales and go, actually, and they didn't spend any money last year, they're probably in a positive liquidity position, of course. But Darwin Nunez was always going to be leaving Liverpool this summer. That was inevitable. And look, in a footballing sense, football will move on and transfers will happen. And we will not forget what happened last week with Jota, and nobody ever will forget. In fact, you know what? I was thinking about this last night. Just before I was dropping off to sleep, it came into my head, and we don't know what the future's going to be with Liverpool Football Club. They will buy a striker. They were going to buy a striker anyway. But they have to bring a striker in, don't they? If Darwin Nunez goes, they've got to bring a striker in. And they are going to be short in that area now because the horrific tragedy of last week removes a player from Liverpool as well. That will never be replaced and was never going to be replaced. But with Darwin Nunez going, they will have to bring somebody in. I don't know who that will be. And we'll come back to that in a moment because it fits in with Guehi as well. But talking about the striker situation as well, Arsenal, Gyokeres, Sunday, it was all popping off. Why has that deal not happened yet? Well, Fabrizio Romano is basically saying that the speed in which it was moving on Sunday has actually made everybody take a step back. It almost became an irritant to Sporting. They don't want to accept what Arsenal have offered. They want 70 million euros plus add-ons, and they're going to dig their feet in on that. So negotiations and talks are still going on. It will happen. Arsenal have made their choice between Sesko and Gyokeres. Gyokeres wants Arsenal. Arsenal want Gyokeres. It will happen. It's just that negotiation period now. By the time you're watching this video, it could happen. It could happen in the next few hours. It could happen tomorrow. It will happen. But my experience of Sporting as a United fan, we bought Bruno from them. They're not a club that gets taken for granted. So Arsenal aren't going to mug them off. They will set their price and Arsenal will have to pay it. 70 million euros is about £60 million plus add-ons. in today's market, when Liverpool are rejecting £50 million for Nunez, you're still getting a good deal. You're still getting a good deal, aren't you, when you think of it like that? So it will happen, but that's why there's a bit of a delay there. Sticking with Arsenal, though, very interesting and exciting updates coming in from The Athletic in relation to Rodrigo of Real Madrid. Arsenal have undertaken significant background work on Rodrigo of Real Madrid. They've held preliminary talks about a possible move. So this is obviously a real positive for Arsenal. They are linked to Eze still, Madueke still, and Rodrigo. Now, if you're going to take two from those three, for me, every day of the week, it's going to be Rodrigo and Eze. But even if they get Eze and Madueke, it's not terrible. I mean, you look at Arsenal's transfer window at the moment. You've got Kepa. They're looking at that Mascara. They've got Norgard, Zubimendi, Gyokeres, and then two from Madueke, Rodrigo, and Eze. So they're going to get 7 signings of real quality, and these super squads that people are building with this Champions League money is evident at Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. So keep an eye on Rodrigo. The Club World Cup will end soon as well. He's not really played for Real Madrid there, so keep an eye on that one. Tell me, what 2 out of those 3 would you take? Because I would take Rodrigo out of those 3 every day of the week, and then Eze is the second option. Taking it back to Liverpool, though, and Sporting for a moment, Diamonde to Palace from Sporting is still very much ongoing. If and when Guehi leaves Palace, with Liverpool leading the race. Now, Give Me Sport, which isn't the best source, are saying that Newcastle are still confident they can do something there. I think, look, we are never going to move on from what happened last week. To lose a player in their prime for a top Premier League club will leave a void that will never be filled. And at some point, Liverpool will play a football game again. And at some point, Liverpool will sell a player. And at some point, Liverpool will sign a player. I think with Guehi, obviously Kwanzaa's gone. I fully expect Guehi to sign for Liverpool. That's my hunch. But at what point do you move on that deal? I mean, if the tragedy of last week hadn't happened, maybe Guehi would be a here we go this week. But right here, right now, I can't even comment on this because I'm not a Liverpool fan, but it feels like it would be very inappropriate to be signing a player at the moment. So maybe Guehi is going to be a Liverpool player. It's just like, you need to bear with us for a couple of weeks until we can actually just not even move forward or move on, just get back to doing what Liverpool Football Club's all around. So I don't think Newcastle are swooping in and doing this deal. I think Guehi will be a Liverpool player. I just think it's about when that can happen. And that might be the same for Darwin Nunez leaving as well. So, yeah, I think with that, watch this space at some point in time in the future. But Newcastle do need to be aggressive in the transfer window. And you couldn't blame them for trying to get Guehi. They tried to get him last year. They've now got Alanga. That's a here we go. But Newcastle are technically the richest club in the Premier League. With the Saudi ownership, they're very, very wealthy, but they can't get the money in. The top 4, to me, looks like it's going to be dominated. I did a little clip on Goldbridge Hot Takes on Instagram. Check it out. Supercomputer has predicted the Premier League for next season. And no surprises, and I won't spoil the order, but it is Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal in the top 4. Where they put Man United is a joke, by the way. Check it out. I'll drop the link in the video description. But Newcastle need to get money into their club so they can spend their money. The only way they're going to do that is by being in the Champions League every year. If the top 4 is already on lockdown, then they've got to try and infiltrate that. And the only way they're going to infiltrate that is by bringing players in. What Newcastle can't do is what they did a couple of years ago, where they haven't got the squad for the Premier League and the Champions League, and they mess up both. At the moment, I don't think Newcastle have got the squad for the Premier League and the Champions League. So it's good that they brought Alanga in. I think they need to start bringing more in. They've tried on Pedro, they've tried on Mbeumo, but there are other players out there that I think they can bring in. Get your comments in on everything we've discussed. I am live tonight at 8 o'clock for the Club World Cup, and tomorrow I'm going to do the semi-finals and the finals, and then it's over. But Chelsea against Fluminense, we'll be live at 8 o'clock for that tonight. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. I will speak to you on the next one. Thank you very much for tuning in.